We're going to start with a woven rose. If you see this on a kit, quite often it'll just be a blank circle. And you might want to draw some spokes inside that circle, but you don't have to. But what I'm just doing to start with is 5 like spokes of a wheel, pretty much the same size. So you might want to draw these out if you're unsure, but you don't have to, because flowers in nature are not often perfect, so don't worry too much about everything being perfect. So I've just done 5 spokes with 2 strands of embroidery thread. I'm now going to use 4 strands of embroidery thread. So when you do this rose, it is often quite chunky. You might see the directions say 6 strands. It might look nice in a yarn like a wool, or even a ribbon. Oh, there we go. Because you do want it to look quite thick. But I'm using 4 because I've just used the other 2 strands. You do want quite a long length, which potentially can get a little bit messed up, but it will save you swapping in the middle of what you're doing. So now you're going to come up very close to the middle, wherever you want. Then we're going to do some weaving, really. We're going to go over the stitch you're closest to and under the next one. Then over and under, over and under. And we're going to keep going around like this. You're not actually going to go into the fabric again until you've finished going round with all the lengths, all the length of your thread, or when you've reached the end of the spokes. If you do enjoy the weaving, I have done another video on weaving a little embroidery brooch, which is quite nice. You can see the flower is already starting to take shape. You might find it easier to go under using the blunt end of the needle. As it starts to build up, just sort of rearrange it with your needle. You might want the leaves overlapping, the petals overlapping really close, or you might want it quite flat. You can see why I needed such a long length. And this can be made even bigger. You can leave a gap in the middle of the spokes and fill it with French knots or a different type of stitch or a different colour. You can really make it look quite different, but it's still just one stitch that you have to master. Getting to the end now, and you essentially just want to make sure that your spokes are covered. So you can arrange the stitches how you like. Start to flatten them down a little bit. Just keep going until it's all covered. So go under that one, over, under. Oops. They're all looking a bit done apart from that one, so we've just got to go around another time. This should do it. There we go. So when you're happy with it, you just come down back into the fabric and do your closing stitch or your knot on the back, however you prefer to finish it. Arrange it a little bit, and there we have a lovely woven rose flower. You can mix it up a little bit. You could have a couple of little leaves coming out here. You could have some really big ones with some small ones nestled around it. You can leave the centre blank and fill with a different thread or different stitch like a French knot. So it is quite versatile, but it just looks like a flower on its own. You don't have to draw it. It is a flower.